companion of God. We're all, of course, companions of God, but some of us try to get that message across to the world on a wider scale. Today we talk with Janki. She is one of the main people of the Brahma Kumaris movement, which is officially called the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University. And we're in Amsterdam. Welcome. Now, since you speak mostly Hindi, Sister Janki will translate.
That's right.
Welcome in Amsterdam. It's warm today. The Brahma Kumaris movement, what is its main message?
हम लोगों का मैसेज यही है, हर इंसान दुनिया में कितना शांत, दुखी, निराश, भय में समझ नहीं सकते मैं क्या करूं, कंफ्यूजन में उनको बेचारों को थोड़ा सुख, शांति, प्रेम, धीरज का अनुभव कराना.
Our main message is that we see that people all over the world have a great deal of peacelessness, sorrow and fear, and so our message is that it's possible for human beings to come back again to the experience of peace and patience and love and joy.
मैसेज उनके अंदर कुछ समझ करके जो उसको चाहिए, शांति चाहिए शांति, समझ चाहिए समझ, प्रेम चाहिए प्रेम, देते जाओ.
And it isn't just a question of giving a message, but the hope is that whatever it is the human spirit requires, if it wants wisdom, understanding, or if it wants peace, or if it wants love, to be able to show them a method by which they can attain that.
That sounds certainly spiritual, but is it also religious?
उसमें religion की बात आती है.
Religion और spiritual वास्तव अलग है नहीं, परंतु अभी लोगों को पता चलता है spirituality क्या चीज़ है, तो धर्म को पूरा समझ तभी सकते हैं.
In fact, every religion has within itself spirituality, but we've forgotten what is spirituality and we've forgotten what is religion. And so it's important to understand spirituality so that then we can also benefit from the religions we belong to.
धर्म को पालन नहीं करते हैं, धर्म का नाम और ही खराब हो गया है.
In fact, nobody is observing the principles of their religion, and so we are defaming the very name religion.
स्पिरिचुअलिटी माना अपने आप को अच्छी तरह से पहचानना, इंसान को क्या करना चाहिए, इंसान समझे अपने आप को.
And so spirituality means to come back to that recognition of being a human being.
Yet, some people feel inspired by Buddhism, by Hinduism, by Jesus. I understand that you teach to the people in the world a special yoga method. What are the roots of the Brahma Kumaris movement?
फिर भी आज क्राइस्ट से या मुस्लिम बुद्धिज्म से आज से लोगों को प्रेरणा फिर भी मिल रही है, और जो आप योग सिखाती हैं उसका जो नींव है वो कहाँ है, क्या है?
भले लोग अपने धर्म को मानते हैं, करता कोई भी नहीं है. हमारा मतलब ये है, हर धर्म में जो भी है, भले क्रिश्चियन हो, बौद्ध हो, मुसलमान हो, कोई भी हो, लेकिन ऐसा तो सीखे, सत्यता तो सीखे. ये हमारा लक्ष्य ये है, इंसान की जो रियलिटी अंदर है वो जाने, पहचाने, एक दो के साथ ऐसा व्यवहार रखे.
Although we have religion, and you mentioned a few, but yet nobody is actually following that path of religion. And for example, nobody's following the path of non-violence today. And so the idea is that it's important to be able to know what are the disciplines and principles of my own religion, whichever it is I belong to, and with spirituality, to be able to have that power, to be able to follow that in my life.
धर्म वाला आपस में हर एक दिन लड़ रहा है. मैं हिंदू धर्म की हूँ, परंतु मुझे लज्जा आती है हिंदू कहना एक करना दूसरा.
Today we're not doing the things that our religion tells us to, and so for example I was born in a Hindu family, but today sometimes I'm almost ashamed to say I'm a Hindu because of the things that are happening, and so to use the name religion and not follow it in life is not good.
इंसान कितनी लड़ाई झगड़ा, पर्सनल लाइफ में किसी की लाइफ ही नहीं है, फैमिली लाइफ ही नहीं है.
There's so much fighting and quarreling happening in the world, sometimes in the name of religion, and even in families. There's no peace and happiness in families anymore.
इसीलिए धर्म के नाम से आज के जवान जो है ना उनको गिलानी आती है.
And so many young people turn away from religion today because of this.
धर्म की बातें नहीं सुननी चाहते.
They don't want to listen to the things of religion.
But is then peace outside in the world and maybe inside the most important part of spirituality?
आप कहेंगे कि आध्यात्मिकता का सबसे आवश्यक बात है अंतरिक्ष शांति और विश्व में शांति.
अंतरिक्ष शांति जब हमारे पास नहीं है तो यहाँ भी नहीं दे सकती, विश्व में कैसे देंगे?
तो आध्यात्मिकता का मुख्य मूल है
अंदर अपने आप को जानना, पहचानना, वास्तव में सत्यता क्या है, स्वधर्म क्या है, उसमें रहना. तो फिर औरों को जिनके संग में होंगी विश्व तक भी मेरा पहुँचेगा.
Yes, spirituality means to know the self, to be able to recognize that, to be able to know the Supreme, to know and have a relationship with the Supreme. And through this, I'm able to have peace within myself. And when I have peace inside, then I'm able to share peace with others also. Then peace can come in the world. If I don't have that experience of inner peace, it's not going to be possible to share peace and create peace in the world.
Peace के साथ love भी है, happiness भी है, power भी अंदर पैदा होती है.
And together with peace, we also need to have love and happiness and power.
जितना मनुष्य नेगेटिव सोचता है और जेलसी रखता है, उसका माइंड बस आता है पीसलेस है.
If I think in a negative way, then I have things like jealousy and experiences like this, then I'm not going to be able to have peace inside.
प्यारा दिल सूखा पड़ा है उसके पास.
It's as if love has become dry.
खुद को कभी प्यार से नहीं देखते.
We are not able to see ourselves with love.
और घर के बाल बच्चों को नहीं देखते.
We don't see our children with love.
खुशी क्या होती है पता ही नहीं. खुशी बाहर से खुशी बड़े भिखारी के तरह खुशी मांगते हैं सबसे.
We've forgotten what is happiness, and it's like we become beggars seeking happiness outside, seeking it from everyone.
सिनेमा में जाए खुशी ले लेंगे और रेस्टोरेंट में खुशी लेंगे. वो खुशी किस काम की है?
We'll go to the cinema in the pursuit of happiness, or to the restaurant, but what sort of happiness is that?
टाइम पास कर ले जाते हैं.
And then it's just simply a question of passing time.
फिर घर आए वही.
And we come back home and the same feelings emerge.
हमको ऐसे इंसानों की लाइफ पर तरस पड़ता है.
So I feel a lot of compassion for people who are experiencing a life like this.
अंदर में शांति है, खुशी है, प्रेम है, अंदर है.
But let there be that peace and happiness and love which is within.
अंदर से ले ले और को दे.
Let me experience it inside and share it with others outside.
उनमें virtues भी आती है.
Then we develop virtues in our life,
बहुत अच्छी तरह से आती है.
very good ones.
शांति से मनुष्य गुण सीखता है.
Through peace we develop many other virtues.
Now there are problems in the world, and sometimes I feel like Arjuna that has to fight it, that has to make a war against pollution, against the lack of values, against other wars. Now that is a different image of a companion of God. It's a more fearful one than what you described.
कभी मुझे लगता है कि अर्जुन समान बनना होगा, क्योंकि विश्व में बहुत समस्याएं हैं. तो जैसे पोल्यूशन है, जैसे असत्यता है, विश्व में वैल्यूज़ नहीं रही है, तो इन सब का सामना करने के लिए हमको कंपेनियन ऑफ गॉड अर्जुन जैसे बनना होगा, जिसका ज़्यादा तेज़ रूप है. जो आप बता रहे हैं उससे तेज़ रूप है.
नहीं, अर्जुन जो है ना हिम्मत वाला है, विश्वास वाला है. ये तो ठीक कहता है.
It's correct. The image of Arjuna is a very good one, and the image of Arjuna is one that teaches us great faith and great courage.
अंदर से समझता है सत्यता के लिए लड़ना चाहिए.
There's the awareness inside that yes, I have to fight for truth.
बुराइयों को खत्म करना चाहिए.
I have to finish all evil.
दुनिया में जो भ्रष्टाचार हो गया वो खत्म होना चाहिए.
All the corruption of the world has to finish.
ये अर्जुन की लड़ाई नाम लेता है, वो लड़ाई मीठी लड़ाई है. वो लड़ाई नहीं है जैसे आज की दुनिया में लड़ते हैं.
So the battle of Arjuna wasn't the physical battle that we see in the world today. It was a spiritual battle. It was a sweet one.
वो अंदर अपने मोह को छोड़ता है, डिजायर्स को छोड़ता है, अच्छी भगवान की याद में रहता है, शांति के हथियार लेकर के, हिम्मत का हथियार लेकर के दुनिया को सुधारता है.
It's a battle to be able to conquer the negative tendencies inside, like attachment. So Arjuna was training to be able to conquer desires, to conquer attachment, and to be able to experience the relationship with God, so that then he was able to have the weapons of peace and love with which to bring peace into the world.
But you were chosen to be one of the 10 keepers of wisdom of the world. Now, I don't think that it is about universities. It's not about teachings. It is about the situation of the world that needs sometimes dramatic changes. Otherwise, pollution will get us, war will get us.
स्थूल रीति से भी बहुत कुछ करना होगा ताकि कुछ विश्व में परिवर्तन आ सके. नहीं तो जो युद्ध है उसका क्या हाल होगा, जो पोल्यूशन है उसका क्या हाल होगा. और आपको विश्व में से 10 लोग जो कीपर्स ऑफ विजडम थे उसमें चुना गया था.
बोलो जिस गरीब मेरे को वहाँ बुलाया गया, बिठाया गया, उस गरीब में पहले मैं सोचती थी मैं क्या इनको बताऊँ, लेकिन वंडर तो ये लगता है भले सब मेहनत बहुत करते हैं, अंदर से हर प्रकार से चारों तरफ कोशिश करते हैं, तो सफलता नहीं मिलती है. कारण क्या है? अंतरंग का सच्ची भावना से ईश्वर को सामने रख करके उसकी मदद से जो ज़रूरत है वो ज़रूर करना चाहिए. जब ऐसे वर्ड्स उनके सामने निकलते हैं तो मैं कहती हूँ भगवान अच्छा आपने अपना इंस्ट्रूमेंट बनाया है ऐसे के बीच में बिठाने के लिए.
When I was asked to be part of that group, I had a question. What am I going to share with these people? What do I have to say to them? And then I began to think about it. And of course, when you look at the conditions of the world today, there are so many problems and so many clever people trying to solve those problems in so many different ways. And yet the reality is that the problems continue to increase and multiply. There doesn't seem to be an end to these. And so what I feel is that what we have to do is to come together and work together, but through God's instructions. The motivation has to be through God's love. And so when we keep God in front of ourselves and take that power and those instructions, then the world can change and become a better place. And it was these things that I was sharing with the people there. Sometimes I feel as if there are mountains of sorrow falling on the world today. So seeing all this, people are totally confused. What's going to happen? Sin continues to increase. But with truth, it's these human hands that can lift this mountain and change the situation. Truth, peace, and courage can bring about a change. This is what my own inner conscience tells me. It's nothing to do with physical weapons. Just as the power of science is incredibly deep, the power of silence is even more. Our inner consciousness, attitude, and vibrations can reach others. They'll touch human hearts.
Somewhere in the book, you say, I read that even though now is winter time, the world is cold and war, we know a new spring will come.
आपने बताया है बुक में कि विंटर का सीजन चल रहा है जबकि सब तरफ ठंडी है, परंतु स्प्रिंग आने वाला है, बाहरी मौसम आने वाली है.
आजकल हर एक आवाज मुख से निकलता है, दुनिया में चीज आनी चाहिए, आनी है जरूर. हम तो 60 बरस से लेकर कहते हैं.
Today, many people are saying that there has to come a change in the world, that changes are happening in the world. And this is what we've been saying for the last 60 years.
अंदर से ये समझ करके अपन को लाइफ को चेंज करते आ रहे हैं, तैयारी करते आ रहे हैं, जो दुनिया आने वाली है उसके लिए मुझे क्या मदद करनी है संसार को.
And understanding that the world must change and there is a better world ahead of us, what we've been doing is preparing ourselves, bringing about that transformation inside so that we can help create such a better world.
ये गारंटी है, पक्का है। रात के बाद इस दिन आता है जरूर। अभी दिन आया कि आया, अब ये सब अमृत वेले का भरता टाइम, रात जा रही है, अभी हमको क्या करने का, हर एक को ये सोचना चाहिए।
It's a guarantee that just as the night changes and the day begins, it's that time which is actually the time of the dawn. The new day is about to begin. But when I understand this, then the next thing that comes in my mind is, well, what preparation am I making for the day? What do I need to do inside myself?
जब ये आप शब्द पूछते हैं, मुझे वो घड़ी याद आती है। 60 वर्ष पहले मेरे को भगवान का मैसेज मिला कि माता जाग और औरों को जगाओ, सोए है सब लाल तुम्हारे, सबको जगाओ।
Hearing you today, I'm remembering the incident 60 years ago, and it was a scene in which I heard God speak to me saying, "Awaken, mother, everyone is asleep. When you awaken, then you'll be able to awaken others."
तब से लेकर कान में आवाज गूंजता है, तुम जागो जगाओ, सोए हुए को जगाओ।
And so this echoes in my mind constantly, awaken and awake others. So many are still asleep.
तो मुझे ये पता नहीं था यहाँ तक मुझे पहुँचना पड़ेगा, और आप मेरे से ये पूछेंगे,
I didn't know
जगाने के लिए बता रहे हैं।
I didn't know that I would come to this point, or that you would be asking me this question now, but it's all part of the process of awakening others.
Is awakening not a different way of looking at the same thing? Is awakening not changing your perception?
जागृत होने का भाव ये है कि हम वही बात को भिन्न ढंग से देखें, भिन्न दृष्टि से देखें.
अच्छी तरह से अंतर कसे से पॉजिटिव सोचें.
Yes, it's a different perception. It means to look at things very clearly, but also to look at things from a positive perspective.
स्वार्थ न हो, सच्चाई हो.
Without selfishness, with truth.
मेरा सब कुछ हो जाता है, तेरा मेरा न हो, भेदभाव न हो.
To go beyond the discrimination of yours and mine.
हद्दों से पार जाएं.
To go beyond limitation.
धरती आसमान सबके लिए है.
The earth, the sky belongs to all of us.
ये धरती माता सबकी माता है.
This earth, the mother, is everyone's mother.
भगवान सबका पिता है.
God is the parent of all.
इनके पास कोई भेदभाव नहीं है.
And so they don't have any discrimination.
तो हमारे अंदर ये भेदभाव न हो, तेरा मेरा न हो.
So we mustn't have discrimination of yours and mine.
ये सारा जागना माना जो अंधकार में जो करते थे उल्टा करते थे.
Yes, so part of the awakening is to understand that when there's darkness, we've been doing the wrong things.
Bring that very practical. You've traveled a lot, and one of the places you went over the past months was Hong Kong. The world sees China taking Hong Kong as a lack of democracy is gone, British are gone. And as Indian people, you must feel about the British going. What I felt is it was also an opportunity for China to maybe share their understanding, their wisdom, their values with us. So looking at the same thing, you can say it's horrible that Hong Kong goes into the hands of China, or you can say, what an opportunity.
मैं उस टाइम हांगकांग में थी, तो मेरे से खास मैसेज पूछा था, तुम्हारा हांगकांग के लिए क्या विचार है? और मैंने कहा मैं ये समझती हूँ लोगों को घबराना नहीं चाहिए.
In fact, when I was in Hong Kong, they asked me about the situation which was about to come. Daddy was there just a few weeks before the handover, and they asked me for a message for the situation. And I said the people of Hong Kong shouldn't be afraid.
समय वो आ रहा है जैसे पुराने ज़माने में राज्य करने वाले समझते थे हमारे माता पिता है, माता पिता है, हमको अपने सबको सुख देना है. अब चाइना हमारे सुख देंगे हांगकांग को, ऐसे में कोई घबराने की बात ही नहीं है. अच्छा है, अपने वैल्यूज तो देंगी.
In olden times, people would be aware that the rulers were going to sustain them, were going to look after them like parents. And so why should there be fear of China? Why should I not see China as the one who's going to share values and give happiness? Definitely. We shouldn't have fear in our hearts and say we don't know what's going to happen. we should have the guarantee that good is going to come from it.
This separation between us and our perception of the government, the police, the political leaders, even spiritual leaders, has made us lonely sometimes, has made us afraid. How can we change that?
जिस ढंग से हम कोई भी बात को देखते हैं, चाहे धर्म के नेताओं को, चाहे पुलिस को, चाहे गवर्नमेंट को, इन बातों के कारण से हम कभी डर जाती हैं. हम उस बात का परिवर्तन कैसे करें?
मुझे लोगों को देख करके अंदर से लगता है अकेलापन. कईयों को कितने भी समझू सियाने देखो डिप्रेशन में बैठे हैं, चिंता में बैठे हैं, क्यों अंदर स्पिरिचुअल पावर जरी भी नहीं है, परम के साथ कनेक्शन ही नहीं है. आप कहाँ से शक्ति?
I see that today people may be very clever, very educated in positions that are very high, and yet there's a loneliness inside, there's a depression inside, an emptiness inside. And the cause of that is lack of spiritual power. It's because we've moved away from spirituality and there isn't that relationship and connection with God. And so to be able to draw power within the self.
मेरा तो भाग्य है सदा इस बात की मुझे पड़ी रही है, मुझे जमा करनी है. इस आदर से मुझे जीना है संसार में. जियो तो अच्छा जियो, प्रेम से जियो. तो जब लोगों को भी देखती हूँ चारों ओर, दिल कहता है मैं कैसे इनको सिखाऊं. थोड़ा अच्छा ये अपने लिए ये भी खुराक खाओ, थोड़ा माइंड को रेस्ट दो, तो आप लोगों को ये महसूस नहीं होगा.
I've been very fortunate in that I've had the experience of spirituality through all my life, and it's my desire that other people should have the same because I feel compassion for them. I can see that if they were to have spiritual nourishment for the intellect, they would have power, they would be able to have a good life, they would be able to share a good life with their children. If they were able to have that connection with God, they would experience a sense of inner rest and inner comfort and inner peace. And so this is my desire, that people should have a good life now. सुबह से भी 2-3 जैसे किया मैंने, कुछ करना सीख, सोचना बंद कर दे, ये कर दे, सब अच्छा होगा, भगवान में विश्वास रखो. When I see somebody with a worried face, I say to them, come, talk to me. And I sit down with them and I say to them, but why are you worried? You must change your way of thinking. Don't have waste thoughts. Have faith in God and learn to be peaceful, because there is nothing to worry about. Things are going to work out right. वो लोग कल भी क्वेश्चन पूछा था ना, तुम कहते बेफिक्र बादशाह रहो, फिर कहते हो रिस्पांसिबिलिटी संभालो, दोनों कैसे होंगी? And yesterday I was asked the question, on the one side you're saying be completely carefree, in fact a carefree emperor, and yet on the other side you're saying fulfill your responsibilities. How is that possible? मैंने तो कहा अगर बेफिक्र कि बादशाही मेरे पास ना हो तो मैं कोई काम नहीं कर सकती. And my own experience is that if I were not carefree, I wouldn't be able to fulfill all my responsibilities and do all my work. And this is my responsibility, to teach others how to be carefree. Do your work well. Keep God as your companion. Have courage. Have faith in each other. Take everyone's cooperation. Have truth and honesty without selfishness, and then you can be carefree. Everything is going to be right. Everyone should learn this. It's easy.
Maybe people look at the Brahma Kumaris movement as sometimes not of this world. You tell people to relieve the stress in themselves, and then it's maybe felt as an escape from the world. Because the other thing is what you say too, is if we would all not meditate every day but reach one other person, our neighbor, the world would also change.
कई लोग समझते हैं कि ब्रह्मा कुमारीज का कुछ स्थूल तरह से इस संसार का संबंध नहीं है. आप कहते हो मेडिटेशन करो, तनाव मुक्त जीवन व्यतीत करो, और मानो कि यदि आप मेडिटेशन ना करो परंतु आप अपने पड़ोसी को मदद करो, तो उससे भी यदि हर व्यक्ति एक और व्यक्ति को मदद करे, संसार अच्छा बन सकता ना.
मदद क्या करेगा?
But how can we help each other?
मैंने देखा है, जिसके पास दया नहीं है, रहम नहीं है, प्यार नहीं है, पड़ोसी बेचारे मर भी जाता है, कोई पूछता नहीं है.
If I don't have compassion, if I don't have mercy, if I don't have love, I don't even want to help my neighbor. Sometimes we hear stories of neighbors dying and nobody even knows.
हमारे नेबर्स देखो चार तो खुश होते हैं बहुत.
And yet our neighbors are very happy with us.
तुम लोग कितने अच्छे समय पर कोई भी बात किसको तकलीफ होगी हम देंगे.
And so whatever help is needed at whatever time, that help is available.
हमारे लंदन में एक साइड वाली लेडी बहुत खुश होती है, बहुत खुश होती है. दूसरे साइड वाला हॉलीडे पर जाता है, घर की चाबी हमको देके जाता है. कहता है मुझे विश्वास नहीं है मेरे घर कौन संभालेगा. कोई अपने संबंधियों को नहीं देके जाता है, फ्रेंड्स को नहीं देके जाता है, चाबी हमको देके जाता है.
In London, where we live, on one side, the lady who lives there, our neighbour, is a very sweet person and has a lot of love, and she's old and she's very loving. And on the other side, the family that lives there, they give us our keys to look after their home when they go away. And in today's world, you don't even give the keys of your house to your relatives, let alone your neighbours. But it's an indication of the atmosphere of love and harmony that spirituality is able to generate.
मेडिटेशन माना ऐसे नहीं मैं आंखें बंद करके बैठ जाऊं. मेडिटेशन माना सबको मदद करूं.
Meditation doesn't mean to sit in a corner with my arms folded in silence, but meditation means having the right qualities so that then I can give help where it's needed.
जिस भगवान को हम याद करते हैं वो सब संभाल नहीं करता है, प्यार नहीं करता है.
We're remembering God, and surely God is the one who's looking after everyone, is helping everyone.
तो जिसको मैं भगवान को याद करूं जितना भी आप नहीं सीखेंगे भगवान से.
And so surely won't I learn the same wisdom from God if I'm remembering God?
सबको मदद नहीं करेंगे.
Will I not help others?
जरूर करेंगे.
Of course I will.
Yes. A few weeks ago, Amsterdam had a big demonstration of people demonstrating for work in Europe. I see them as expressing their divine worries and care. They care not only about themselves, they care about work for other people. I see that as a spiritual thing. The world sees it as demonstration. How does that relate to spirituality in your sense, as an inner spirituality?
कुछ समय पहले एम्स्टर्डम में बहुत बड़ी जुलूस निकली थी जिसमें बेरोज़गार के संबंध से लोगों ने मार्च किया था. सारे यूरोप के संबंध की बात थी. तो उसमें मैं देखता हूँ कि ये इंसान वो थे जिन्होंने अपना नहीं सोचा परंतु औरों के लिए सोचा कि उन्हों को भी काम मिलना चाहिए. तो ये भी तो एक आध्यात्मिकता का अंश है. आप क्या कहेंगे कि इसका आध्यात्मिकता के साथ क्या संबंध है?
दोनों बातें मिलाएंगे ना, उसमें ऐड होवे तो अच्छी बात है. तो सफलता होंगी जिस भावना से करते हैं.
It's two separate things.
करते हैं सब बड़ा.
And there are very good people in the world who want to do a great deal for others, and if together with that motivation of doing something for others, there were also the spirit of the awareness of the self, the spirituality, then that motivation could actually be realized and be successful. So both things need to come together.
देखो हमारे महात्मा गांधी कितना अच्छे अहिंसक भाव से सत्याग्रह किया, वो किया. उसके अंदर आध्यात्मिक शक्ति थी, त्याग भावना थी. और आज छोटी मोटी बात में स्ट्राइक कर देते हैं, वो कर देते हैं.
If you look at Mahatma Gandhi's example, for instance, he had the power of non-violence, he had the ability to mobilize people and gather them together, but he also had the power of spirituality, and it was on the basis of that so much was achieved. And today it's just an external reaction in the sense of strikes, etc., without the spiritual power. And so little things cause conflict and battles.
प्लेन पर स्ट्राइक, फलाने जगह स्ट्राइक, दुनिया में बसेस की स्ट्राइक, ट्रेन की स्ट्राइक, सब लोग तंग करते हैं.
And so there's a great deal of distress being caused by many strikes, whether it's aeroplane strikes or bus strikes or strikes here and strikes there.
फैशन हो गया स्ट्राइक.
it's become a fashion to have strikes.
Yeah. Now you also, from your reading, you fight for something in the world. Well, you don't fight. You are active in what I would call spiritual feminism.
आपको माताओं को आगे बढ़ाने का लक्ष्य होता.
My relationship with God gave me such internal power that I was not intimidated by the social convention of the role of women. So then you fight.
भगवान से संबंध से मुझे इतनी शक्ति आई, तो उससे फिर जो समाज की मान्यताएं थी माताओं के प्रति, उससे मैं पार जा सकी.
क्योंकि हमारे भारत का कल्चर है शास्त्र, हम कहाँ तक यहाँ तक पहुँचने में भगवान की मदद से और समझा. पहले मुझे अपने अपने ढंग से सुनाते रहे, तुम वैसे करना चाहिए, तुम वैसे करना चाहिए. अच्छा, मैंने कहा ये करने से फायदा, रिजल्ट क्या होंगी? हाँ, बस जैसे आपकी लाइफ, मुझे ये लाइफ से मुझे ऐसी लाइफ बनानी है, उससे भगवान जैसे खुश रहे, संसार खुश रहे.
It's true. The India that I was born into had such strong conventions about the role of women. It was a different world completely. And so there were many, many people who were telling me, this is what I should do, this is what I shouldn't do. And I knew that I had to use my own understanding. And I had to come to my own decisions. And so I said to them, what is it that will happen if I follow your instructions? What will be the result? What will be my future? And yet what I want to have is a life in which I'm able to have a relationship with God and use that for my own betterment and the betterment of the world. And so I knew that if I had that link with God and faith in God, I would have the power to do that.
आप कहेंगे कुएं में टपा दो, मैं नहीं देंगी, मैं निकली हूँ, आपको निकाल देंगी.
If somebody tells me to jump in the well, I'm not going to just simply be obedient and do that. But if I'm outside, if somebody else is drowning, I'll be able to help them also.
तो ये शक्ति निश्चय से आती है.
It was faith that gave me power.
मुझे क्या करना है?
What must I do?
मेरा रोल क्या है संसार में?
What is my role in the world?
आज मेरे लाखों लेडीज की तरह से नहीं होता.
I don't want to be like hundreds of thousands of others.
अनेक मरते अनेक जीते, क्या बड़ी बात है?
Many come in the world and go in the world, so what?
और खास हमारी माताओं को जो गुलाम करके चलाते हैं, अत्याचार करते हैं, वो मेरे सामने होता है.
And I couldn't tolerate the violence against women that was happening.
Young people, children today, they face a world that is full with computers, with environmental problems, with war. Shouldn't they try to change that?
जो नौजवान है आजकल संसार में बहुत सी बातें हैं, कंप्यूटर्स की बातें आती है, लड़ाइयाँ की बातें आती है, क्या ये सब बदली नहीं करना चाहिए?
जरूर करना चाहिए. आजकल हमारे भारत तो क्या सब जगह बच्चों के लिए कितने अच्छे अच्छे प्रोग्राम बना रहे हैं, ताकि बच्चों को ये अल्टरनेटिव मिले ना, जो देखते हैं वो विचार बच्चे करते हैं. तो बताओ बच्चों का कैसे अच्छे अच्छे प्रोग्राम चल रहे हैं चारों तरफ.
We are very aware that children today are of course the product of society, and so they are totally influenced by what they see around them. And so what we are doing in India as well as many other countries are programs of education on the theme of values everywhere, so that there can be a new positive direction to move in.
छोटे बच्चे सब बच्चों को चाहिए.
In fact, young, old, everyone needs to know about these things.
हम हमेशा समझते पुराने ज़माने में बच्चों को जो जन्म से स्कूल से बच्चों की जो पालना मिलती है, बेचारों को भविष्य लाइफ अच्छी बनती है. आज कौन बच्चों का ख्याल करता है?
In the olden days, everyone was aware that whatever sustenance and upbringing children were given at home, at school, and then through their youth, etc., that would prepare them for the future. What sort of preparation are we giving our children today?
माता पिता कहाँ बच्चों को बैठ के अच्छी अच्छी कहानियाँ सुना करके अच्छी अच्छी बातें सुना करके थोड़ी उनको बच्चों को पालना देती हैं.
There used to be a time when parents used to sit with their children and tell them stories to give them ideas of values and good things for their life, and that doesn't happen anymore.
आज आपको बताती हूँ अमेरिका में सेंटर में क्यों खोला, न्यूयॉर्क में.
let me tell you why we started a center in New York in America.
एक फैमिली के अंदर मैं रही 7 बरस की लड़की थी बेचारी टेलीविजन के आके छोड़ के वो चले जाते थे घूमने फिरने
I was staying with a family and they had a daughter 7 years old, and they used to leave the daughter in front of the television and they used to go out in the evenings.
बच्ची रोए बहुत
And the child would cry.
मैंने प्यार से बिठा के खिलाया इतना प्यार किया मेरे को
I sat with her and gave her food with love, and there was a great love she had.
बोली तू मेरी मम्मी है सच्ची
And she used to say to me, "You're my true
माँ
mother."
बाप को ख्याल ही नहीं टेलीविजन में बच्चे बैठे हुए सारा दिन
So there's nothing but television to sustain children all
क्या
day.
सीखेंगे टेलीविजन से
What are they going to learn?
तो बच्चों को और कुछ कहो कुछ नहीं करेंगे टेलीविजन में बैठेंगे
And so today children don't want to do anything anymore except sit in front of the television. But who taught them that?
The Brahma Kumaris University is then one of the organizations. Is it one attempt to repair that, to help there?
तो आप लोग इस बातों को संसार में ठीक करने चाहते हो.
सबको ठीक होना ही चाहिए
Definitely we believe that there must be change. Things must get better.
और हमको ये नहीं हमको कोई गुरु बन के फॉलोअर बनाने हैं
We are not interested in being gurus and creating followers.
जैसे भगवान सबका बाप है सबका रक्षक है हम कहते हैं सारे संसार के हर मनुष्य आत्मा को छोटे बड़े गरीब साहूकार हर जाति धर्म को ये सुख मिलना चाहिए समझ मिलनी चाहिए
God is the protector of all, God is the parent of all, and we feel that everybody should know about this so that then they're able to experience that protection and blessings and that happiness that can come from God. It's the right of every human soul to do this, young or old, whichever religion or culture they belong to.
भगवान से भी संसार की ऐसी अगर देखी नहीं जाती है
God can't tolerate the conditions of the world at the present time.
उसको ऐसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट चाहिए बहादुर
And so God also wants courageous instruments who can bring about change.
इसलिए हमारे भारत में भागवत में 5 पांडवों का गायन है 5 भी थोड़े भी
And so in the scriptures of India, they remember the 5 Pandavas, just a minority, a handful.
सारे को चेंज कर दिया सबको
But the handful were able to bring about transformation for the world.
और भगवान को साथी बनाया
But they made God their companion.
तो तुम भी कंपनी बन जाओ भगवान का
So you too can be a companion.
Companion of God, yes.
बहुत मजा आएगा
You'll enjoy it very much.
I do.
Make
Dadi
that
Janki, thank you for sharing that. Sister Dajanti, thank you for translating it. And yeah.
1 minute meditation करो
Let's share a minute of meditation
ऐसे, ऐसे।
together. Just sitting comfortably.
जैसी तुम्हारी भावना है
Mhm.
कि सबको शांति का कैसे मैसेज मिले
So that everybody can have that experience of the message of peace.
चाहे पास हो चाहे दूर हो, मेरे जीवन की तुम तकदीर हो।
चाहे पास हो चाहे दूर हो, मेरे सपनों की तुम तस्वीर हो।
निभाना वादा निभाना।
टिकट लेना है ना? हाँ टिकट है कहाँ?
ये नहीं अभी तो लेना है नहीं
हम जो सहारा ढूंढते थे वो सहारा मिल गया हो।
हम जो सहारा ढूंढते थे वो सहारा मिल गया।
The idea of being a friend of God implies that there is something that we have in common.
If he is your mother, then he can deal with everything physical. If he's your father, he can push you out and say, go on, go for it. If he's your child, he can suddenly make you soft.
God to me is my business partner, my advisor, my close friend, someone that I really touch base with a lot throughout the day.
हमको हमारी खुशियों का संसार सारा मिल गया ओ।
This is a university that teaches us about the spiritual dimension of life, the ideas of eternal truth connected with the spiritual dimension.
जग में हमारे वास्ते बंद थे सारे रास्ते। जग में हमारे वास्ते बंद थे सारे रास्ते। हमको हमारी बंधन से अब छुटकारा मिल गया हो।
हमको हमारे बंधन से अब छुटकारा मिल गया।
I tried many times to find something new and I couldn't.
The very meaning of spiritual knowledge is to be able to differentiate between truth and falsehood, just as you're able to see in a mirror very clearly if there is a stain. In the same way, receive the mirror of knowledge through which we're able to see right from wrong.
I had been going through a period in which there were many questions, a great deal of confusion about what is right, what is wrong, what is the direction in which I want my life to go in. And it was as if I was not getting any clear answers from anyone out there. And coming to the university, I understood very, very clearly what was happening inside my own inner world. And when I could see a clear picture of what was happening inside myself, I then knew exactly what it is I had to do, and so I was able to follow a path and make a decision that I'm still comfortable with 30 years later.
And I mean, do you think he's going to make these decisions purely in a rational way? There's so much information and so much change. There just isn't time to do it all here. So how's he going to develop the skill? What sort of quality does he need?
Of the cycle gave me an idea of the context of what people are in now. There was a plan, there was a reason to things. And I suddenly saw this image of a big wheel just churning around and around and around. And everything with it, all time, all people, all molecules, all atoms, everything with it. And in the center of all that, the only constant by which all change has been measured is God. I think we're in a moment of great transformational change. There are two very, very obvious, one more obvious than the other, energies present, and it's a time of transition from the old into the new. And so you have both things present. You have those energies which are trying to sustain what is old, and those energies which are trying to establish the new.
My approach to business changed when I changed internally, and it was just sort of redefining a set of values and about the things which are important.
We can become pure when we're able to go beyond the consciousness of our own physical body and develop the awareness of ourselves as spiritual beings, that we are the children of the Supreme Father, the one who is the Father, who is God, the Father of all souls. Then we become liberated from this negativity automatically.
It's about time to be gentle.
Go to the source of where you're thinking. I see that focus of conscious energy right at the seat of thinking itself, right in the middle of the brain. And instead of me being divided in 1,000 places, a little bit in the past, a little bit in the present, a little bit in the future, I have become whole again for the next few minutes. In that sense of wholeness, I start to feel that my potentiality. I see myself just shining. I feel that I have enough love to cope. I visualize God, very subtle yet intense, star-like, radiating that love and that peace and that power. And I become involved, enveloped in that very, very subtle embrace. And whatever's going on around me, I feel very, very much protected yet empowered I just remain in that state for a few moments and come back again.
from love.
It's about time to change now.
Am I seeing myself as God would see me? Because He would only have complete respect for me. He would only have the highest vision for my possibilities. Am I having that same vision myself of me?